Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Come on now. Let's not forget that. Another day above the dirt is always is a blessing, y'all. How is everybody doing today? It is Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday. It's the last day of the month, everybody. Yes. What a day. What a day it's been. What a night it's been, too. So we got some things we're going to talk about. There's some things we're going to have to get into. So please do me a favor before we get into everything. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button. Follow. Make sure you are subscribed right here on my YouTube channel. Subscribe, please and thank you. Go ahead and get over there and subscribe, okay? Hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it's random. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Support the channel if you can. I see there was a new member that just kind of joined just a little bit ago. I appreciate you. But please consider becoming a member by hitting that join button down below. If you want to support even further, check out my Patreon right there, the ticker down below right there. If you want to support and become a patron, go on over there. And of course, another way you can support us, go over to PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, so go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Okay. We got some things that are going on. There's a lot of different things that we got to talk about. A bunch of different things. And yeah, we're going back to some old stuff that we haven't talked about in a while to new stuff that's going on. Pete Hegseth just did a new, like the Pentagon just had another press conference. So we got to listen to a little bit of that because, he had quite a bit to say. It's just so weird, Okay, before we go into the list of things that we're going to be talking about today, because, God only knows what's going to be, what's going to transpire throughout the course of this show. There might be something that breaks while we're here live, while we're having this discussion and talking about everything that's going on and what, some of the things that we missed yesterday and all that. But what's up with these guys? Like what's going on with these guys? What's up with these guys? What are they? What's going on? Like, for me, here it is. There's so many things that people feel. There's a lot of things that people feel about this war. There's very, very few. I mean, unless I'm missing something here. A good portion of Americans are not, for those of y'all who are not American, okay? I'm just talking about America right now. For those of us Americans, majority of us do not want this. Do not want to see war. Do not want to see us go, do whatever the hell we're getting ourselves into right now. So much that, like I said, you check out the thing that I just pinned to the chat. It's a short that I did before we went live. And, honestly, you got guys, you got your boys and girls, our men and women who protect this country freaking the F out. That says something, doesn't it? We're going to get into this here in a second, but just hear me out for a second. And this is just me talking. You know what I mean? The whole show is me talking. I get that. But what I mean is like, this is me just saying something from the heart. And saying something that I feel for our men and women that are about to go overseas. It's something else when, okay, hear me out. Hear me out for a second. I remember 9/11. I witnessed it myself. I saw it with my own two eyes. It was one of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had in my entire life. Probably still have a little bit of PTSD from it. Even though it was so many years ago, I still feel it. Still feels very real. Doesn't happen all the time, but it from time to time, I feel it. Now, I'm not the only other person that felt that. Not everybody was at ground zero experiencing the things that I experienced. There are other people that just felt it, watching from their TVs at home, thousands of miles away from any of the places that were struck on 9/11. But here's the thing. I knew so many of our troops that were so hardcore down for going. They're like, get me over there. Get me a weapon and get me over there. I'm ready to go. You can't do this to our country. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, right? Now, just hear me out. I remember a time where, I had friends, etc., that were gung-ho, absolutely adamant about going overseas. Dead serious. Totally down. Let's go. They don't do this to our country. They don't do this to our people, so on and so forth, right? They felt a need to go over there. Now let's flash forward a couple decades to where we are now. And the general consensus I've been getting, and I'm not speaking for all soldiers, but a lot of them are terrified. A lot of them are not very excited about going. Let me just repeat that. Let me rephrase that, because I feel like it's unfair for me to automatically just say that these soldiers are afraid. I'm not saying that, but they don't feel that passion to go across the seas to go fight this war, because there's no real agenda. It is not about revenge. It's not about justice. It is not about any of that. There's no real purpose. And some feel like they're getting sent to a pointless, endless war. Now, of course, I can't speak for all soldiers. Some soldiers just want to get them some. You know what I mean? Go get you some. Okay. Go get you some, bro. Whatever. And a bag of chips. Okay. But then there's others that are like, why am I going? Why exactly am I going? Can we sit? Whoa. Before you push me out this plane, why are we doing this? What's the plan? What's going on? Right? Whereas I feel like, a while back, there was a plan. Somewhat. There are guys that are freaking the F out right now, going to mother-loving strip clubs, yapping it up with scrippers, scared out their minds, going and, rubbing themselves a little booty because they feel like this is going to be the last time they ever going to rub them some booty. And not in a good way. Not like, oh, I'm going over there to protect our country and, that's the heroic thing to do. Woo! It's not that. They're going, oh, damn, I'm going to the strip club, see the girl sliding up and down this pole, throw some money, because this may be the last time I see anything that represents any type of freedom for me. I know, hold on. Strip clubs are not the epitome of freedom. You know what I mean? Like, yes, they're freeing the boobies and the booties. You know what I'm saying? That there's freedom there, but you get what I'm saying. The strip club always wins. Just so you know, guys, you're walking in thinking that if you spend all your money, that you're going to be able to take that girl. It's not going to happen. The house always wins. The strip club always wins. So stop spending all your damn money in the strip clubs. But here's the thing, though. Hey, I'm not going to be mad at the girl dealing the curvature. That's her job. That's how she makes her money. Do your thing, girl. Right? Same thing like a car dealer. It's like the house always wins, man. Why spending all this money in the gambling in the casino, man? But hey, I'm not going to be mad at the person dishing out the cards. That's their job. You see what I'm saying? But if you really think about it, a lot of the guys that are going to these strip clubs and doing their last hurrah, it's not for they're doing it for America. What are we doing it for? A lot of these soldiers are scared. But what's interesting is that there's a level of scared on top of the scared. Whereas in the past, when they've been launched overseas to fight Afghanistan, whatever, right? There's at least a little bit of patriotism. Like they're going out there to fight for their country. That there is a set agenda. They know exactly what they're about to do. Whereas this situation where they're all getting deployed, no one knows what's going on. The Pentagon clearly seems like they don't even know their ass from their elbow. And you got a lot of scared young men and women not excited about being deployed. When in actuality, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, it's the vibe of I'm going to protect my country. I'm going there for my country. Yes, that second part is true, but to protect our country, what? They could just stay home. So you see what I'm saying? These guys are going into these strip clubs. They're drinking their faces off. They're blasting all their cash. They're looking at the beautiful, beautiful female form. Okay? Because y'all are beautiful. Dear Lord. Y'all are beautiful. But there's something missing. You get what I'm saying? There's something missing. There's no soul to this one, to this deployment. There's no soul. Do you get what I'm saying? Maybe I'm getting too poetic over this ish, but there's no soul to this. So these kids are going out there and they're kids. They're about to be sent out there. And it's lacking. There's no soul. It's like fried chicken without the seasoning. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? There's no soul to this. So these kids are scared because they don't feel like there's any type of energy behind this. And they're freaking the F out. Some are refusing to be deployed, which of course they can get court-martialed, but we learned on the show they could get court-martialed, but then they could fight that in court later for not, you know what I mean, for not going in and obeying orders. But nonetheless, you're going to have a lot of people getting court-martialed for refusing to be deployed to a war they don't agree with or don't even understand. So you got more and more of this dude right here sitting there trying his best to try to explain to us how patriotic and how amazing this war is when it's not at all. And this man's, he crazy, man. He crazy. This stuff scares the crap out of me. Like, yeah, I made a funny joke about this stripper. You know what I mean? Let me just pull that up right now because I have it up already and set up so you guys can see this too. But you got, you know, a stripper saying, "Hey, yeah, these U.S. troops are coming in, and they're talking about being deployed, and they're saying these things out loud." And she's sitting there going, like, they're so young. I feel so bad for these kids. As she, you know, as she's taking their money and giving them lappy dances, right? Like I said, nothing wrong with it. Shoot. Do your thing. But this is a soulless, heartless, directionless war. It really is. It's crazy because there's something else that just popped up, and it just popped up in my head. I'm going to have to try to find time to find it. But apparently, they are saying that Trump was talking about this for decades. What we're doing right now as we speak, which is most likely going to be boots on the ground, but it won't be boots on the ground in the way that you think boots on the ground. It'll most likely be boots on the ground on Carg Island, while he has special ops going into Iran to try to retrieve all the uranium, like he's been talking about for a long time. But it'll be more of special covert operations done that way. So we do, and most definitely have, boots on the ground already out there. But what they're doing, we don't know. But one thing is for sure, he been talking about taking oil from Middle East way before he even thought about becoming president. He's been talking about this for decades, y'all. Decades. Why don't we just go in there and just take the oil? We're the strongest country in the world. We're the strongest military in the world. He said this way back in the 80s. Way back when. And now we're doing exactly what he's been thinking about for the last 3-4 decades. Ain't that a little wild? So yeah, it looks like the whole plan is to go in and do a whole bunch of thievery. This is a country version of a B&E, of a breaking and entering. And if that's exactly what we're doing, have mercy. That should worry and scare us all. Because if there's something that's done, if something does happen, see, even my dogs are getting upset about it. You know what I'm saying? It's cool, Romeo. Tranquilo. Por favor, Romeo. But here's the thing. You know, if you really think about it, like I said, It's going to be bad. You got another, if I'm correct, there was another person that resigned from Lebanon just recently. I have to pull this up too. Resigned just recently because of fears of nukes being used. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. Medusa, my dogs feel my pain. That's why they're my dogs. Oh! So here's the thing. People are now resigning from their positions because of fear of nukes being dropped. And I'm going to tell you this too. I wouldn't be surprised if we were this, like, it feels like we're this close to Trump just being like, let's just drop the bombs. So like I said, I'm very, very worried about the outcome and the turnout and the reaction of more boots being put on the ground because, like I just said, there's more coming. Also, if you noticed, if you happen to have a neighbor, because, everybody, if you don't know your neighbor, you still kind of know your neighbor because for a fact, y'all nosy as F. As much as you go, I stay in my own business. I just keep in my own life. I don't pay attention to nobody. But then when you see your neighbor doing something interesting, you're going, what the hell is he doing? What's he doing over there? Honey, come here. Honey, what is he doing? That's a big ass bag. What is that? That's big enough to put a human in. Honey, who is that? I'm telling you right now, you at least know your neighbor is at least enlisted or something of that sort. So as soon as you see that person packing up and grabbing their things and everything's army green, or in camo, you're like, oh, snap. Especially right now, you're like, oh, snap. He about to get deployed. For a fact, you're all watching that. The neighbors be watching. The neighbors are watching. You think that window? Oh, no, the lights aren't on. They can't see nothing. Yes, they can. Close the blinds, sweetheart. Close them. They know exactly what's going on. Okay? You think you can go around in your birthday suit walking around with the windows open? They know. And they can see you. Close the blinds, man. Okay? Just saying. I know I'm talking to somebody in here that knows exactly what they're like. Oh my God. Oh my God. But I'm telling you right now, you could tell if you got anybody who's enlisted in your neighborhood, you're already seeing them probably packing up. If they're packing up, yeah, they're getting deployed. They got the call and they're about to get deployed. Especially if you're in areas that are known for, they have army bases, etc. in the area. Yeah, your neighbor most likely is about to get deployed or at least get the call to get ready to be deployed. So just keep an eye out for it. And so, like I said, you're going to see other people go to the strip clubs to try to blow off some steam. I still don't understand how blowing off the steam and going to the, you know what I'm saying, to the strip club. I don't understand the connection. I don't know why. Don't get me wrong. Female form, beautiful. Love it. Great. Can be very calming, but throwing all your money for it, it's like I said, house always wins, guys. House always wins. No, they're not going home with you. Never. Save your money. You're going to need it when you come back. I'm just saying that too. But some of these guys are blowing cash, going crazy because they feel like they're not coming back. But this time, instead of them feeling like they're heroes and that heroic, like I'm about to go do something for my country and kick ass and take names. There's no soul to this. There's no soul to this situation. It's really sad. Wait a second. How he hungry but entertained? Jose, what is that? Huh? Because you don't. I'm gonna be real. You're not going to a strip club to eat. There's a double meaning in there. He hungry but entertained. I see what. Okay, now I get what you're saying. That's gross. That's gross. That's gross. So unclean. But okay. The wings, though, you can still eat there. Have you ever had strip club wings? Man, you don't even know. And it's the whole wing too. It's not just the nub. Okay. I'm being real. It's the whole mother loving, like, you know what I'm saying? It's the whole, it's like an elbow. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing. Arm, both. No, nobody? Okay. Uh-oh. What happened? What happened? Did my computer just freak out? I think it did. Hold on, guys. I don't know if you guys can see me, but my computer just froze on me. What the hell? Whole thing just froze. Hold on, I'm checking this. Okay, you guys can't see me. Okay. It looks like it finally went back to normal. What the hell? Anyway, as I was saying, the wings be fire. Just so you know. Useless knowledge. But yeah, for some weird reason, the whole thing froze. But anyway, like I said, where's the soul? Where's, you know what I mean? Where's that vibration? It's not there because nobody knows what they're going there for. And now it's kind of like they're going into a dark abyss, and that could scare the hell out of anybody, right?
Operational.
So, without further ado, we need to get into this. Just thinking about it, it's scary, that kind of thing. It's crazy. But let's take a look. We're only going to look at Pete Hegseth part, and then we're going to hop over to the question part real quick. And don't worry, we are going to talk about the Charlie Kirk bullet situation and all that too. Yeah, so we're going to get into that too.
Troops fighting in Operation Epic Fury. We were on the ground, in CENTCOM on Saturday for about half the day. For reasons of operational security, so those troops are not targeted, the places and bases will not be named. Suffice it to say, the trip was an honor. I had a chance to bear witness, and I witnessed the best of America.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I'm not going to be interrupting a lot in this press conference, but I just don't know why he thinks he's mother-loving Braveheart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. There's great honor in serving and protecting your country. There's great honor in it. Absolutely. But there's something about this that's just so like, I feel like he's playing a part in a movie, you know? And all the stuff that he reads, it's like it's like poetry for war. You see what I'm saying? Like he's trying to create some sort of these iconic moments. Whenever he has these press conferences, he's reading from and these are epic prose that he's reciting, for us, but it's so over the top. Like I'm waiting for Michael Bay to call him up and be like, "We need you in our next movie." You're gonna F around and find out. You know what I mean? Like I'm expecting like lots of lens flares and epic music in the background, like a driving epic drum in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like he feels like he's in a mother-loving movie. Am I the only one who thinks this? He's so weird. It's so weird, man. This ain't a Michael Bay movie. People are really dying.
I witnessed warriors, a brotherhood of men and women, warriors all, active duty, guard, and reserve, united in their love for each other, their shared purpose, and their commitment to the mission. I witnessed sheer competency. I watched a private first class confidently calling out an enemy missile trajectory to a room full of officers. Everyone focused. The room was locked in. 2 enemy missiles successfully shot down. I spoke to Air Force and Navy pilots on the flight line who every day both deliver bombs deep into Iran, but also shoot down drones defending their base. Many had just returned from the skies of Iran and Tehran. I put on a headset and spoke to one crew in the cockpit, locked and loaded each and every day. I witnessed ingenuity, American ingenuity. I met the young Army officer who figured out how to neutralize maneuvering enemy missiles, saving countless lives. His commander confirmed that the whoops and cheers erupted in the Tactical Operations Center when his new approach was first successful. I met the Air Force intel analyst who refines target packages faster than the enemy can adapt. I actually gave him my card and told him to keep me posted on the ground truth. I did the same with his boss, a colonel with a heart the size of Texas and a beautiful deployment mustache to match. I witnessed lethality. I met a junior airman as the sun was going down and a chill was setting on the tarmac, who, when asked what they needed, she simply looked up at me with a sly smile on her face and said, "More bombs, sir."
Okay. You see, like he's writing a script to a movie. You know what I'm saying? Does that, you know what I mean? Like as the sun was going down and hitting the kissing, the light kissing off the tarmac, I looked to our soldiers and I asked them, "What else do you need?" And one of the pilots looked up with a smirk on her face. "More bombs, sir. More bombs." Really? Yeah, it's literally like he's reading a bedtime story to his kids. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. It's just weird. It's just weird. More bombs, sir. Like I said, it's a freaking Michael Bay movie. This is literally what he's writing. And in his head, it's real. This is real, but he's writing a movie. And just because he's using these flowery words, it doesn't change the fact that people are losing their lives for a war they don't even know what it's for. You see, you picking up what I'm putting down. Yeah, he really does think that this is a movie. It's wild because he's trying to make war look sexy. He's trying to make this war patriotic. You see what I'm saying? I'm just waiting for like I said, I'm waiting for the music, that like go and get them patriotic kind of music in the background. You know what I'm saying? As he's telling this story. I think that's what he's seeing in his head when he's writing this mother-loving story. More bombs, sir. More bombs. Burner, burner. He's like, damn right. You know what I'm saying? And then jets are flying over his head with streamers or like smoke coming out, but it's like red, white, and blue smoke coming over his head. You know what I'm saying? Literally, Michael mother-loving Bay. That's what he's doing. And for those of y'all who don't know who I'm talking about, is like, who's Michael Bay? Well, he made he made most of the Transformer movies. He directed the first and second Bad Boys movies. Just so you know, his first movie he ever directed, by the way, useless knowledge, but is Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, Bad Boys, that movie, right? And a lot of his stuff is very patriotic. Okay. He also did The Rock with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. Yeah. All right. Just think about that guy and all the epic movies he does. Okay. Just say. That's what he's thinking in his head. Is that overly patriotic? That overly cinematic, that dramatic. That's what he's doing right now. Okay? That's what he's doing right now. Crazy. Yeah, and that Kid Rock, we need to look at that business, which is insane, businessa. That is, and you know that they're getting investigated because of that little stunt that they did at Kid Rock's place. Bar with the bar. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Kid Rock, we're going to look at that later. Okay? But this is so dumb. This is the America that the rest of the world is looking at. We look dumb. We look so dumb. Anyway, more bombs, sir. More bombs. Damn right. You're going to get those bombs, girl. You're going to get them, soldier.
And bigger bombs. We will happily oblige her. I met the Army targeting team who found and sunk the pride and joy of the Iranian Navy. Their fighting position plastered with images of sunken enemy ships. And I witnessed urgency. Right when we landed, another C-17 landed just minutes after us. And within 30 seconds of the aircraft coming to a full stop, a team on the ground pulled up and the cargo was being uploaded. Wartime speed. To a man and to a woman, on the ground, in the air, on the flight line, and in the talk, I heard, we want everything faster, higher op tempo, wartime speed. The feeling was the exact opposite of the rotational units year after year in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan that we're so familiar with. In those wars, it was always about the next rotation, never knowing when the mission would end or exactly what the mission was, year after year.
Why do I feel like Lindsey Graham is listening to this somewhere in a corner, just tenderizing his meat and just being like, say wartime one more time. Say wartime one more time. Say it one more time.
Not with epic fury. I witnessed urgency to finish the job, urgency to achieve mission success, not looking at the next rotation, only moving as fast as possible to win. I got a chance to troop the line, to witness firsthand what we already know is true. spoke to all ranks and all services, none of whom knew we were coming. It was not rehearsed or scripted. Sometimes we just wandered. What I witnessed was motivation. It was sheer mission focus. It was the American warrior unleashed. It was the kind of warfighting American spirit that comes with a clear mission against a determined enemy. A crew chief we flew with summed it up nicely. He said, "It's been a busy few weeks, sir. Tough stuff. But I'm so honored to be called up. This fight is long overdue. We need to address it for our kids. We cannot pass the buck. Please thank the president from us." I heard that time and time again. I asked each young American, "What do you need?" And nobody said better equipment. Nobody said more comfortable living conditions. Nobody said send me home. Well, of course, eventually we want all those things. They do too. But what those Americans said to me, young and old, officer and NCO, male and female, black and white, was, "Let's finish the mission. Get us even more bombs, bigger bombs, more targets. Let us finish this." In fact, Admiral Cooper noted this morning that the 3 Air Force captains shot down by Kuwaiti-friendly fire early in the fight weeks ago. They never left the theater. All dropped bombs over Tehran last night. These men and women live the Iranian threat every day, incoming missiles and drones, and know what a world looks like, what the world would look like if Iran had the most dangerous weapons in the world, a nuclear weapon. As President Trump has said time and time again for years, and in this administration, Iran cannot have a nuclear bomb, and they won't. These troops, they want to finish this fight for their kids and their grandkids. This is about history. This is about legacy. Success matters. And because of this president and these Americans, we're closer than ever before to winning. President Trump is doing what no other president had the guts to do. Previous presidents were all talk. He's all action. On the battlefield, because of the latitude the president has given us, American firepower is only increasing. Iran's decreasing. We have more and more options, and they have less. Just 1 month in, only 1 month, we set the terms. The upcoming days will be decisive. Iran knows that, and there's almost nothing they can militarily do about it. Yes, they will still shoot some missiles, but we will shoot them down. Of note, the last 24 hours saw the lowest number of enemy missiles and drones fired by Iran. They will go underground, but we will find them. We recently destroyed another one of their command bunkers. Leaders forced to flee, no water, no power, no oxygen, no command and control. Their faith in their caves diminishing. The latest intel is clear out of CENTCOM. Our strikes are damaging the morale of the Iranian military, leading to widespread desertions, key personnel shortages, and causing frustrations amongst senior leaders. Just last night, we had 200 dynamic strikes alone. Dynamic strike is a strike where a pilot leaves, and during their flight, they get a new target set based on real-time intel given to them. A new launcher, a new location, a new troop formation. A dynamic target is one that changes while you're in the air because of improved intelligence. 200 dynamic strikes alone, in addition to the pre-planned targets. The video the president posted last night of Esfahan, an ammo depot struck by U.S. bombers. You see, you don't get to see many of those videos because, as a reminder, Iran has still shut off the internet to 99.9% of its population. But if Iran is wise, they will cut a deal. President Trump doesn't bluff, and he does not back down. You can ask Khomeini about that. The new Iranian regime should know that by now. This new regime, because regime change has occurred, should be wiser than the last. President Trump will make a deal he is willing, and the terms of the deal are known to them. If Iran is not willing, then the United States War Department will continue with even more intensity. Standing here this morning in this briefing room, in my mind's eye, I'm actually looking out at the groups I met this weekend. The pilots, the logisticians, the intel analysts, the targeters, the sustainers, the flight crews, the air defenders, the base security, those maintainers. So we walked up at sunset with the chill in the air on the flight line. May God watch over all of them, each day and each night. May his almighty and eternal arms of providence stretch over them and protect them and bring them peace. In the name of Jesus Christ.
Like I said, I'm sorry. What in the hell are we listening to? What are we listening to? Come on, guys. Come on. What, forever and ever, amen? Like, what's going on? He just brought Jesus in, and Jesus is like, no, what? Why am I in the group chat? I didn't say nothing about this. What? I have nothing to do with this. In the name of the back off. What? Come on, guys. Come on now. Come on now. What the hell? Like I said, I'm waiting for the drums, the patriotic music in the background. You know? Like this is Mother Loving Braveheart. He ain't even on the front lines. And he is most definitely not talking to his troops right now. So what is this? He's not on the front lines going, on me, and running. You know what I'm saying? They'll take our land, but they'll never take our freedom. Like, what's this? What is this? This is not Braveheart. What is this? What is this? He's auditioning for a role. He's auditioning for a role. This is so dumb. This can't be real. Hold up. We got to roll that back because he just slipped right into, he kind of slid right into a prayer. Hold on. In my mind's eye. Like, what is going on? What is this guy? Carbonized freedom. Like, you know what I mean? Then the bagpipes start playing. You know what I'm saying? What's going on here?
Those maintainers. So we walked up at sunset with the chill in the air on the flight line. May God watch over all of them, each day and each night. May his almighty and eternal arms of providence stretch over them and protect them and bring them peace. In the name of Jesus Christ.
In the name of Jesus Christ. Crazy, right?
And amen. Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
That was the end of his almost 10-minute bullshnish. Okay, let's hear. I will say this, though. In comparison, in comparison to General Sal Chicken over here, General Raising Cane, he has no seasoning. He has no seasonings. None. I mean, he make it, Pete Hegseth, Petey, he makes it interesting. You feel me? Yeah, nobody said amen. Floating Lotus, yeah. Nobody said amen. No one. No one said amen. Hold on. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. And amen. Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr.
There was one person that said amen. Amen. But oh my dear God. Yeah, but General Tso chicken here got no seasoning. There ain't no all purpose. Like there ain't all seasoning. There ain't no Lowry's. There ain't no garlic salt. There ain't even just a little bit of pepper. It's just straight up. It's just flour and oil, and that's it. I mean, the comparison to Pete Hegseth, okay? Pete Hegseth keeps it very interesting. At least he you about to walk away with diabetes. He's so seasoned. You know what I'm saying? It's straight up boiled. It's boiled chicken. That's all it is. Shoot, there is no crust. You know what I'm saying? It's just white. And I don't mean it because he's white. Oh my God. I didn't mean it to be a race thing. But you get what I'm saying, right? Just no, it ain't even beige. It's just white. You know what I'm saying? Just stark white. You know what I'm saying? Like white. You know what I'm saying? Like white. Just nothing. Just nothing. Okay, didn't even try to think of like, what's all this stuff up here for? Maybe if I put some on the chicken, it might taste good. No, he just threw it in a boiling pot of water and said, may I have another? That's the Raising Cane that we're talking about here. Just empty. Water. Boiled chicken. Moving on, though. I didn't mean it to be a race thing. I swear to God. But let's see what else he's got to say. Yeah, it's whiter than white. It's translucent. You can't even, you can see right through the mug. Okay, sucked out all the sustenance, all the nutrients, just gone. Okay.
Industrial base, the arsenal of freedom. It's worth noting no one has rebuilt that defense industrial base faster and with more purpose than President Trump and his
unflavored gelatin. You know what I'm saying? Just a glob of Jello. You feel me?
First term, and now we're rebuilding the arsenal of freedom. Our defense industrial base is more vibrant today than it's been since World War II and growing rapidly. Contrast that with Iran, whose defense industrial base is nearly completely destroyed. Their ability to reconstitute the weapons of war they're using now that they're hiding in underground facilities and attriting over time, their ability to rebuild that is negligible. And I think that contrast is an enduring legacy of this as well, right here.
We've had some signaling that the U.S. will retake control of the Strait of Hormuz. At that point, what military posture will be imposed to guarantee safe passage for our allies, deter our enemies, and demonstrate U.S. dominance in the region? And also, can you speak to how much America's adversaries, Russia, China, North Korea, how much they're supporting Iran's war machine at this point with arms and intelligence, and what we are militarily doing to punish the enemy coalition?
Appreciate both questions. On the Strait of Hormuz, there are many more vessels flowing through today than there were, as the president has arranged. The president's been clear to Iran, open it for business, or we have options, and we certainly do. And when you look at what the chairman laid out with the Navy industrial base, with coastal cruise missiles, with UAVs, with counter mine capabilities, we've been focused from the beginning on attriting and defeating those capabilities and limiting their options. There's lots we're doing as well, some of which is known, some of which is not known, to set the conditions. And I think the president was clear this morning in his truth that there are countries around the world who ought to be prepared to step up on this critical waterway as well. It's not just the United States Navy. Last time I checked, there was supposed to be a big bad Royal Navy that could be prepared to do things like that as well. So he's pointing out this is an international waterway that we use less than most, in fact, dramatically less than most. So the world ought to pay attention and be prepared to stand up. President Trump's been willing to do the heavy lifting on behalf of the free world to address this threat of Iran. It's not just our problem set going forward, even though we have done the lion's share of preparation to ensure that strait will be open, which is an outcome the president's been very clear on. As far as Russia and China, we know exactly what they're doing, what they are or are not doing. We don't have to air publicly what all of that is, but where necessary, we're addressing it, we're mitigating it, or we're confronting it head on. I don't know if you have anything you want to add.
No, sir. I think you covered it.
Do you have any
Not right here.
timeline for operability in the strait? Or?
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. David Zier, Real America's Voice. And I witnessed that enthusiasm on the lines and our submarine builders and ironworks. It's unbelievable. But I just wanted to ask you, what's the status of the delivery of any hardened bunkers for additional protection for our troops? And without getting too specific, what kind of measures are we taking to protect some of the larger, more strategic aircraft like the Sentry and other?
Well, it's great question. I'll say what I witnessed where I went was a completely locked in discipline of bunker use and bunker improvement. So from the beginning, as we stated very clearly, the first thing we did was set up a defense and make sure our defensive capabilities were maxed out before any of this even started. That included fortifications as much as possible, but it also included disbursement. If all of our people are in one place, you could imagine why that's a big problem. So dispersing is part of that defeat. Alongside that disbursement is more and more bunkers. And I can tell you, talking to base commanders, talking to our allies in Israel, talking to others, rapidly fielding that and then improving those positions is a theater priority, no doubt, as are the air defenses and the layered air defenses. It's not just Patriots and THAADs, it's fighters and defensive caps, it's other kinetic defeat systems, it's electronic warfare. So the defense of our troops and our assets is max. I will say on some of those other assets you talked about, air wings, airframes, there's some things adversaries are doing to provide info and intel that they shouldn't. We're aware of it. And ultimately we move things around and don't. One of the biggest principles you learn in the military is to not set patterns, predictable patterns. And so commanders are working hard to adjust in real time with those systems and make sure they're in the right places and not easily targetable. Jillian.
Thanks, Mr. Secretary. The U.S. and Iran appear right now publicly to disagree about whether there are these negotiations ongoing. What impact does that have on military strategy? Does it have any bearing at all? And General, the president wrote yesterday that the U.S. might destroy Iran's electricity generating plants and oil wells. Those are his words before ending this operation. Is there a way to do either of those things without like seriously jeopardizing or seriously harming civilians?
So on the talks, I can tell you, having been with Steve and Jared and the vice president and Marco and many others yesterday, they are very real. They are ongoing. They're active and I think gaining strength. And we appreciate that. As I said in my remarks, we would much prefer to get a deal. If Iran was willing to relinquish material they have and ambitions they have, open this, great. That's the goal. We don't want to have to do more militarily than we have to. But I didn't mean it flippantly when I said, in the meantime, we'll negotiate with bombs. Our job is to ensure that we compel Iran to realize that this new regime, this regime in charge, is in a better place if they make that deal. And so we'll continue. We're working hand in hand, but the primary effort is a deal. We want that deal to be accomplished if at all possible. If not, then we're prepared to continue.
Secretary, what happened at
Go ahead,
CashApp?
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. We're always thinking about those considerations and develop options to be able to mitigate those risks pursuant to the normal practices that we do in the military. So,
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I know you slightly addressed this already, but just on the Strait of Hormuz, is opening the strait an essential objective to Operation Epic Fury, or is that the job of those other countries? And then secondly, without asking you to comment on things that you can't talk about, what is your message to Americans who love the president and strongly believe in him, but are very worried about this notion of boots on the ground?
Thank you.
First, on the Strait
Good
of
question.
Hormuz, our core objectives from this podium, from day one, from me, from the chairman, from the president, from the vice president, from Secretary Rubio and others have been clear. Defense missile production and missile programs, so their entire missile program, defense industrial base and production ability to build, and Navy and power projection. So those have been, and then of course, wrapping it all is Iran's never going to have a nuclear weapon. So those have been very clear. Defeating the Navy is a core part of ensuring they can't project that kind of power. But ultimately, I think the president's truth this morning lays that out very well, that this Strait of Hormuz issue, which we've set the conditions for success, and we will make sure Iran knows that very clearly, is not just a United States of America problem set. We've been willing to lead. President Trump's led the entire time, but it's not just us. So ultimately, I think other countries should pay attention when the president speaks. He's proven that when he speaks, he means something. And he's pointing out, might want to start learning how to fight for yourself. It's something some of us have been saying for quite some time. You can't just have flags. You have to have formations. You can't just have a few ships. You have enough to affect change. Those things matter in a dangerous world with ascendant adversaries. That's why the chairman's talking about our industrial base. That's why we're launching the Arsenal of Freedom tour to revive our defense industrial base. President Trump doing it in a way that nobody else has. As far as President Trump and boots on the ground, I don't understand why the base, which they have already, they understand, wouldn't have faith in his ability to execute on this. Look at his track record of pursuing peace through strength, America first outcomes. And what he's simply saying, and it's exactly true, and I've said from this podium too, we're not going to foreclose any option. You can't fight and win a war if you tell your adversary what you are willing to do or what you are not willing to do, to include boots on the ground. Our adversary right now thinks there are 15 different ways we could come at them with boots on the ground. And guess what? There are. So if we needed to, we could execute those options on behalf of the President of the United States and this department. Or maybe we don't have to use them at all. Maybe negotiations work, or maybe there's a different approach. The point is to be unpredictable in that. Certainly not let anybody know what you're willing to do or not do. But if anybody has internalized the lessons of Iraq and Afghanistan, as the first one, President Trump, to call them out for what they are, he's not going to repeat those lessons. And I think I've been very clear about that from the podium. Yes.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. A question for you and then a question for General Kane. You said we're a month into the Operation Epic Fury. How long until the objectives are achieved? And is there a scenario where a deal is struck before the objectives have been achieved? And then for General Kane, there's been lots of media coverage that suggested a ground invasion is imminent. What other purposes might the soldiers and the Marines who have been deployed over to the Middle East serve in this conflict?
Well, just like the previous question, it's sort of military 101. Don't tell your enemy what you're willing to do or not do. And don't tell your enemy when you're willing to stop, especially an enemy that likes to hide in bunkers and try to hoard their missiles and hope you'll wait you out. So that's not a question I'm going to answer or the president has said definitively. We have our own goals and guidance and things military objectives that we're moving toward and things that we look at. And as he's articulated, he said 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, 3. It could be any particular number, but we would never reveal precisely what it is because our goal is to finish those objectives. And we're well on our way. And the chairman and I look at this every single day. It will be the president's determination and the president's determination alone when those objectives are complete and when it serves the interest of the American people to cut that deal, to make sure that Iran doesn't have a nuclear capability and ultimately that our objectives, our interests are advanced. I don't know if you want to add anything.
No, just to answer your question, Reagan, the range of military options that those forces can offer are extensive, not just limited to what you mentioned in terms of forces on the ground. And I wouldn't want to take away the president's decision space, but there are a multitude of things, not the least of which is Iran should note that they're out there and that they are a pressure point. And so they should carefully consider, I think, at the diplomatic level, not my job as a chairman, but at the diplomatic level to consider what's in front of them.
Jerry.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, the U.S. government, I see, assessed for many years that Iran is protecting al-Qaeda senior leaders, including the current Emir Saif al-Idil. Does the U.S. assess that he's still in Iran? Has he fled to Afghanistan? Is he on a target list? And Mr. Chairman, based on CENTCOM figures and open source, Iranian daily missile barrages and drone launches have indeed dropped dramatically since the start of the war, but they're not at zero. And they seem to have maintained some level of low but stable numbers. Perhaps they've dropped a little bit more in recent days. How do we get that closer to zero? And what impact is Iran's degraded but still very real capability impacting current and future operations?
So I won't speak to a particular target. I'll just say that al-Qaeda remains our enemy, obviously. And there are a lot of people on our target list in Iran. And if they were to be harboring Al-Qaeda, they would certainly fit that list.
Just quickly, the mobile targets that they have that we continue to service, as the secretary talked about, the 200 hits that were done last night. That's one component of continuing to lower that. The second and more long term impact that we're having is the strikes against their defense industrial base at scale, which will not allow them to reload after that. So we do continue to see a trend down. They are still shooting, and we do continue to exert significant pressure against both sides of that system.
Secretary, thank you for the question. Do you still believe, you said previously that the Iranian leadership would surrender? Do you still believe that? And is the United States still committed to NATO's collective defense? And to Chairman Kane, could you give us a sense of your thinking about the legality of striking desalinization plants if the president were to order that?
Yeah. Let's see you dance around that.
I would say that any mission that ends on our terms, you want to call it a surrender, call it a defeat, call it what you want. We remain committed to a conflict that ends on our terms and the president's terms. There's no doubt about that. And as far as NATO is concerned, that's a decision that'll be left to the president. But I'll just say a lot has been laid bare. A lot has been shown to the world about what our allies would be willing to do for the United States of America when we undertake an effort of this scope on behalf of the free world. These are missiles that don't even range the United States of America. They range allies and others. And yet when we ask for additional assistance or
see what he's doing there?
Access basing overflight, we get questions or roadblocks or hesitations. And the president's pointing out, you don't have much of an alliance if you have countries that are not willing to stand with you when you need them.
Hold on. You see what he did there, though, right? He's saying, "Oh yeah, we're helping the other people of the free world, the other countries, not us. These missiles can't hit us. They can't reach us. They're going to hit other people. They're going to hit the likes of France or London and blah 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 blah." You see what I'm saying? We're doing it for them. No, you weren't doing it for them in the very beginning when you launched missiles on when you first threw the first punch. Notice how we lost the plot. Like I said, the plot in the very beginning of this show was about regime change. The very beginning of the season of this show, Operation Epic Fury, was about regime change. And now where are we at? Oh, these missiles, we're doing you a favor. We're doing all these other people, all these surrounding countries a favor. We're protecting them now. We're protecting the free world now. See? Sure, yes, that is true now, but that's not why we were here in the very beginning. The very beginning was about regime change. These other countries don't want anything to do with this ish. And I feel like they're in a situation where they're like, you know what? Honestly, bro, US, we appreciate you doing it, but here's the thing, though. If they attack us, then we'll handle it ourselves. Then we'll handle it if they were to attack us. But they're not going to attack us, but they may attack us now because you attacked them. Damn. We didn't want no beef. And now we're in the middle of this ish. And now you're trying to pull us in this mug, and we don't want to be a part of it. We don't. Maybe if missiles are launched, let these other countries deal with it then. And then we can sit back with our cognac in our hands and say, B word, I told you. And casually sip your cognac. You see what I'm saying? Oh, you need me now? Hold on, let me put down my very expensive cigar. Excuse me, what? What'd you say? Oh, now you need me. Oh, okay, bet. But we aren't even there yet. That moment hasn't even sprung up yet. Because we're all up in Iran's ass, fighting them in a war that no one else wants. And Trump out here tripping and losing his mind about all this, all of this. And he's like, come on now. We need you guys. Well, you may need them, but they don't need you. You see what I'm saying? Again, no kidding. Who can afford a cognac nowadays? Pete Hegseth can. He could just write it off the bill. $100 billion or whatever the hell, $90 billion of some bullshit-ish. right? Grand pianos and Apple computers. But anyway, I digress. You see, this whole situation, they're trying to gaslight. They're trying to gaslight countries. While they go in, they threw the first punch, and everybody, including Americans, are looking at the powers that be and going, why did you throw the first freaking punch when there was no need to throw it at all? None.
Pointing that out, and ultimately it'll be his decision of what that looks like after this is complete.
I'll just won't talk about any particular target. This really builds on Jillian's question too, that I don't think I completely answered. But the joint force is the most professional force in the world, and we have numerous processes and system to carefully consider the whole range of considerations, from civilian risk to legal considerations with any target. And as targets come before us, we run them through the same process that we always do, and always strike lawful targets in accordance with the normal procedures that we use.
Chairman King, do you agree with no quarter, no mercy for enemy combatants? As Hegseth has said.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you. I appreciate it. On Sunday, President Trump said that Iran's first regime was all destroyed and the second one is mostly dead. And the third regime that we're on right now has been much more reasonable in negotiations. Do you agree with that assessment, and why?
I would defer to the negotiating team there. They're the ones talking to him, but they're getting a back and forth on terms, which is a productive development. We stand right there next to our negotiating team, always willing and prepared to put them in an even better position. Thank you very much.
Yeah, obviously he's not going to give us everything. So of course, they're like, well, are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? Are we going to end? Are we going to be done doing this X, Y, and Z? He's sitting there like, nah, like, I can't tell. I'm not going to tell you what we're about to do. Maybe because he has no idea what they're about to do. That's the other thing too, right? They use that excuse all day long. Like, that would be dumb if I told you what cards I had hidden up my sleeve. Oh, ha, 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 ha. You know what I'm saying? But in actuality, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know at all what they're doing. They're just as confused as anybody else, right? Now, I got to show you guys this because somebody asked this in the super chat. And there's a couple other things I do. Hold on. Let me just pull these over here so that we have them. Because some of this is a little funny. I just got to be honest. Some of this is really funny. First off, let me just grab this super chat so I can get it off the list really quick. Where did it go? Where did it go? Yes. Ride said, thank you so much for the super chat. But they said, please tell me you've seen the Hegseth axe throwing video. I've seen it a long time ago, but we're going to take a trip down memory lane, shall we? The most interesting, most militarized human being being like, I don't want nothing but 6-pack abs and tight asses. If you're a little rotund, if you get a little tubby, you're out. You're out of the force, right? You're out of you're out of the army or whatever. You're out of the military, right? This guy can't even, have you seen him swing a kettlebell? Have you seen him do a pull-up? Let's just start there. Just put that in your mind. As we look at this situation.
With the axe, who's going to win this battle of the lumberjacks? That's coming up next. I'm putting my money on Clayton.
But yeah, you're gonna put your money on Clayton, absolutely. That was a real axe that he just threw, and that he totally missed the whole mother-loving target. Even the damn the wall, the half wall, big ass half wall. Hold up, look at that wall. That's a big ass wall, and you throw it up above. My dude, you have people behind there too, man. Luckily, no one lost their legs or faces or arms. But let's keep it a bean. He had a whole surface he could have thrown at. He could have thrown it on the ground. But guess what? No. In the busy streets of mother-loving New York City, no less, he throws a full-on, actively sharp axe into the air. Hold on.
With the axe, Who's going to win this battle of the lumberjacks? That's coming up next. I'm putting my money on Clayton.
That would have made
With the axe. Who's going to win this battle of the lumberjacks? That's coming up next. I'm putting my money on Clayton.
so he was enlisted, right? He served, right? Wow, I'm surprised. Wow. I know who I'm not going to if there's a zombie apocalypse. I will say that. That was real. That was Pete Hegseth. Oh, by the way, that was Pete Hegseth, if you didn't already know. Has anybody seen him throw a baseball? I'm just curious. How did he survive being deployed? Was he ever deployed? Real talk, was he ever deployed? How did he survive? Does anyone know? How did he survive, though? Where is that thing? Yeah. Let's just take a look. Hegseth. By the way, that's RFK Jr. Just so you know. Doing pull-ups in jeans. Take a look.
Pete and Bobby challenge today. 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups. You try to get under 5 minutes. Pete and Bobby challenge today. 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups.
You see how he's like just trying to get himself up? Okay. I'm just saying, hey, I mean, you know, and he doing the underhand, you know what I'm saying? He ain't doing like the real like pull-ups, right? He doing more chin-ups, right? Which this, you have a stronger grip. You know, it's a stronger move. It's much easier to do this. And it's a lot harder to do the wide grip pull up, right? And he still couldn't do it. He's kipping hard.
Today, 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups. You try to get under 5 minutes.
Have mercy. He did not have his Wheaties that day. That's Hegseth for you. That's Hegseth. He'll be like, I want everybody to be in perfect shape. Every single last one of y'all, because this is what we do. We want to make sure that if anybody F's around, they find out. I need tight asses and 6-packs. All right? I want to be questioning my sexuality every day because of how fit you guys are. Do you understand? That's literally Pete Hegseth. Tight asses. 6-packs and tight asses. So we got to go over to Kid Rock real quick because there was something that just recently happened. And it's kind of funny. I think he ruined these guys' career. So here it is. Kid Rock salutes a military helicopter that flew by his Tennessee home. Why? Why did they do this? You understand that they're burning taxpayer dollars right now. That gas, oh, that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gas that's in the helo, in the helicopter right now. Beautiful, beautiful gasoline in the helicopter. All of it. Taxpayer money being burned for the likes of Ba with a freaking Ba. Okay, so here's the thing. First off, interesting how the top of it, right above, says the Southern White House. Yeah, it's the Southern White House. Okay, all right, that cute. That'd be cute. Yeah, that'd be cute. But this is the military that actually did this. They decided, hey, we're gonna fly by and show our love to the likes of Kid Rock. Why Kid Rock? Is Kid Rock that patriotic? I mean, no, meaning like his music, not him. We already know how he is. We already know how he is. But I'm talking about, like, is his music that patriotic? Really? Ball with a ball? You listen to that and you're like, America, if you. Is that really what it is? I'll throw your picture away or something like that, right? Sit down and cry today. That is America? That's American? That's patriotic? I can't look at you while I'm lying next to her. Really? Surprised I found that song all the way in the recesses of my mind. It must be the beet juice. But still. Come on now. Come on, y'all. Come on now. That's so now here's what's interesting about this situation. Now, because of that stunt, military is actually running an internal investigation into the men and women that actually were flying that helicopter during that time. And guess what happened? Guess what? The Army just suspended the air crew that flew the helicopter near Kid Rock's home. So after investigation in the situation, because they say, wait a second, you ain't supposed to be doing that. The hell? We don't care that it's Kid Rock. It's Kid freaking Rock. At least let it be like Garth Brooks or Jason Aldean. But no, Kid Rock. Kid freaking Rock. Now they've been suspended. So take a look at this. The Army has suspended the air crew flying military helicopters by Kid Rock's home over the weekend. On Saturday, Kid Rock, his real name is Robert Ritchie. Interesting. I didn't know he was a Bob. He doesn't look like a Bob. But anyway, posted a video on X showing him standing in the backyard of his Tennessee home as a military helicopter hovered over several seconds and another flew close by. God bless America and all those who have made the ultimate sacrifice to defend her, read a post accompanying the actual video. Rock also used profanities to lambast Gavin Newsom in the post as well, which has been seen more than 10 million times. Yeah, a lot of people saw this, which it's crazy that you got a helicopter flying low right next to your home like this, right? So the Army later identified the aircraft as an AH-64 Apache helicopter operating in the Nashville area and stated that the appropriate action will be taken if any violations were found. A military spokesperson said Monday that the helicopters flew from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, to the Nashville area. Army aviators must adhere to strict safety standards, professionalism, and established flight regulations, the Army said in a statement Monday. An administrative review is underway to assess the mission and verify compliance with regulations and airspace requirements. What mission? There was no mission. The mission ball with a ball? We're going to fly low? What operation? What mission? There is no mission, right? There is no mission. Anyway, a spokesperson for the 101st Airborne Division at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, said the flying helicopters were not related to Nashville's No Kings protests that took place over the weekend and were entirely coincidental with the actual demonstrations. Yet there is some information saying that there were helicopters flying low in certain No Kings protests, and they believe it was out of to intimidate these protesters that were out on No King's Day, which is interesting. But moving on, the Army did not immediately return a request for comment Tuesday regarding the suspensions. So Kid Rock, who we already know about him, okay? He remade the song All Summer Long, which I hate, but moving on. Okay, we already know the song Picture, like I just sang to you. I know it was like nails on a chalkboard or crying, drowning kittens, but still, you know those songs, okay? For the most, you know, we were smoking funny things, we were drinking funny things, you know what I mean? He just destroyed that song. It's terrible. But moving on. So he performed in the RNC and in 2025, he was in the Oval Office for the signing of an executive order to curb ticket scalping. So none of that is important in regards to why this helicopter was flying low by his home. But here's the thing: who did he talk to convince them to fly by, or did they just go, "Let's go over there and say hi to Kid Rock. Have you seen Robbie yet? Let's go see Robbie. Let's go fly by and say hi to Robbie real quick. We in the neighborhood." Yeah, we flew in. We took off in Kentucky, but we ain't that far. We're a hop, skip, and a jump. Let's just go over to Nashville and say hi to good old buddy Bobby. You know what I'm saying? He called and said, "Hey, I will lip sync the hell out of a song for you in the next patriotic event if you get this helicopter to fly low right by my pool." How about that? Who said what? Who called and made the call to say, do it? And we'll make a video out of it. Super patriotic. It's super dumb, if you ask me. It's super mother-loving dumb. But it was done. But it was done. And now somebody, or the people who were flying, the soldiers that were actually flying the helicopter, have now been suspended. By breaking protocol, which could also potentially be extremely dangerous, what they did here. If things went haywire, which thank God they didn't. Thank God it only went to the level of stupidity. But still, it could have been catastrophic. Who called who to say, "Hey, fly by my home. Fly by the Southern White House real quick"? How about that? So stupid. Sorry, not sorry. So stupid. Now, we got to get into this conversation about, the main title. All right. We got to get into this. And this is a very big deal because a lot of people are reacting to this, and understandably, rightfully so. Everybody should be reacting to this quite viscerally, especially if you've been following the Charlie Kirk case at all. Now, on this channel, the case and this whole story has fallen off because we're waiting for them to go into trial. We're waiting for all the things to actually happen that haven't really happened yet. But we all have been side-eyeing how things have been done, how the investigation was handled, etc. I think we can all agree on that, right? We've all been like, something about this doesn't feel right. Something about this feels fake. Some of it feels like they just made certain things up or omitted a lot of information so that there's just nothing but holes in the story. A lot of people feel that Tyler Robinson is not the guy at all, that he is just the scapegoat. He is just the fall guy for this whole situation. And I'm telling you right now, I will say this. I believe that Tyler Robinson is the guy, at least one of the guys. He's not the guy. I don't think he operated alone. I still truly do not believe he operated alone. Now, I already know there's a lot of people out here that are going to disagree. There's a lot of people that already have their minds made up thinking that this is an innocent kid. He has nothing to do with it. Sure, he's got a transgender furry girlfriend or lover. Let's just say that. And that makes you side-eye him no matter what. But at the end of the day, doesn't matter if he's into furries, into guys, into transgenders, into girls. Doesn't matter what he thinks. Evil is still evil. Wrong things are still wrong things. And again, bad, evil energy wears many masks. He just happens to be wearing a very specific and very unique mask right now. Again, did he do this alone? I don't think so. I don't think so. But I do think he's one of the guys. I do. Now, one of the things that is very interesting is everybody's reacting to this. I already did a short about this last night. It was late last night when I saw this, and I was like, holy crap, this is insane. But then I had some time to think about it a little bit more, and this could explain, there's some things in here that I think that they omitted that I think are important to put into consideration before we completely lose our tops, right? And before we completely lose our tops, and then at the same time put our tinfoil hats securely on top of our heads, right? Now, they're saying that the bullet that was used to take out Charlie Kirk does not match the rifle that allegedly Tyler Robinson used to actually take Charlie Kirk out. Hold on now. There's something here I think is very interesting. Because I already feel in my bones tonight or, this evening at some point, Candace Owen is going to be doing her thing, and she's going to be talking about this whole situation, and she's going to say, oh, my dear God, I was right the entire time, and I knew that this was, that he was being framed as this person of interest that took out Charlie Kirk. And I'm going to tell you right now, that was the worst Candace Owens I've ever done, but you get what I'm saying. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Listen to her, how she talks. Listen to how she talks. If you ever take 2 seconds, I know some of y'all like, listen to her. Oh my God, I'd rather just, drown myself. Listen to her and see how she talks. That's kind of how she does it. Anyway, I digress. We already know that she's going to be going crazy about this. We already know. But here's the thing. Okay? This is very, very important. And I already know that's going to be a pushback about this, but we're going to talk about it nonetheless. Let's take a look at this article. Again, they're saying the bullet that took the life of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk may not match the rifle used by suspected monster Tyler Robinson in a bombshell new court filing states. So we already know about Robinson, and he young. Okay, he like his men's, or he likes transitional men. How about that? Okay. And he likes them furry. We already know about all that. Okay. And what he did on September 10th. But his defense attorney now argues that the Bureau of the ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, was unable to identify the bullet recovered at autopsy to the rifle allegedly tied to Mr. Robinson. Hear me out. Hear me out. This is a big deal too, because if they actually can prove this, then this is bad. It's bad for prosecution, and it's really bad for the likes of the FBI and most definitely the ATF. But let's continue. They say the defense team may now offer the ATF firearm analyst's testimony as exculpatory evidence. But here's the kicker. Just because they cannot identify the weapon or the bullet to actually match his white rifle does not automatically mean it's not his bullet. Hear me out here. Here's the thing. From what we're understanding, the bullet turned into shrapnel, basically. It broke into many different pieces inside Charlie Kirk. Now, here's the thing. If that is the case, you'd think, or you would hope, that they'd be able to retrieve whatever they were able to retrieve, piece it back together, and maybe they can say, well, actually, it is this bullet. It's actually this type of bullet. And it can be fired from this particular rifle. So again, I get it. There's going to be a lot of people losing their doggone minds about this. And there's some more information here, too, about DNA and all that. I think this is all very important. But I can see how people, and I'll give myself, when I first initially read it, I was like, holy crap, what? What? That's crazy. But if they're able to do their forensic witchcraft, they may be able to piece it together and really double down on that statement. Because right now the defense is pretty much grasping at straws because there's too many other pieces of evidence that's pitted up against Tyler Robinson. There's a lot going against him right now. A lot. All right. Now, again, this is why I'm saying this is extremely important because they're trying to use the firearms analyst's testimony as exculpatory evidence. You know what that means, right? That exculpatory evidence means basically the smoking gun evidence that can prove Tyler Robinson's innocence. So again, they really need to run back and do another analysis, maybe bring in another person, maybe somebody a little bit more experienced, whatever it may be, to really make sure that the firearms, the bullet does not match the rifle that Tyler Robinson had that night or that day. Nonetheless, he was there. Nonetheless, he had a rifle. Nonetheless, he climbed up to that rooftop to take aim. He did all those things. They have all that evidence to show proof positive that he did those things. Now, did he pull the trigger and was he lucky? Did he really hit his target or did he not? Was there somebody else up on a rooftop somewhere else that we do not know of? Remember the weird people that were the guy, right? The Larry David guy? Larry, remember? Soon as Tyler Robinson, let's just say in quotations, pulled the trigger, what happened with Larry? He's like, I did it, take me, I did it. Why did he say that? You mean to tell me that he was really there to see Charlie Kirk just to hang out and see him speak? Because it seemed very strange that he suddenly became activated as soon as Charlie Kirk fell to the ground. Don't you find that a little bit odd? See, these are the moving parts that I find strange. Those are the moving parts that I find strange. Here's the other thing, too. We need to see, and of course, I would like to have more proof of this, too, showing proof positive, that he actually pulled the trigger on his rifle, that he indeed pulled the trigger on his rifle. Because everyone heard only one shot. One. We didn't hear multiple. We only heard one. So again, a lot of things, very interesting. And I get it. I find it very interesting as well. But the ATF said they were unable to identify the bullet recovered at autopsy to the rifle allegedly tied to Tyler Robinson. That's massive. That's massive information. Now I want them to really run it back. Really run it back. It also notes that DNA reports filed by the FBI and ATF will take time for the defense team to analyze because reports indicated that several different DNA samples were found on some items of evidence. So you got a DNA mixture going on other samples and other pieces and items of evidence as well. Who can you separate those DNA mixtures and find out who these other people are? It could be Lance Twiggs. DNA on there. It could be another person's DNA over there as well. I mean, there's so many different things, so many different possibilities. But again, what's going on? What mixture? And can you split it apart? And I'm not saying, it's just like the same situation with Nancy Guthrie. They had a mixture of DNA and they couldn't separate it. Could this be a situation where they could separate this and figure it out, right? It says here, as these cases indicate, determining the number of contributors to a DNA mixture and determining whether the FBI and ATF reliably applied, validated, and correct scientific procedures is a complicated process which requires the assistance of various types of experts, including forensic biologists, geneticists, system engineers, statisticians, however you say that word, all of whom must review and evaluate several different categories the filing states, which basically they're saying they want more time. They're basically saying we need more time and we need a whole lot more people to go through all this. Because it seems like maybe the FBI and ATF coast through the procedure a little bit. Quite possibly. Maybe. Then maybe they just said, we found our guy, we're good. We already have enough info. He already turned himself in, so on and so forth. So we're done. Who is the mixture of DNA? I'm going to keep on asking that question because let's be real. Could it possibly be another person that was involved in this murder? Could that DNA link to somebody else as well that we know nothing about? Aliens, ancient aliens, man. But you see what I'm saying? Don't you find it a little bit odd? Don't you find that a little bit interesting, love? Don't you? Tyler. And the bullet used may not be actually connected to his rifle. That's absolutely mad. Right? Huh. They also said, his attorneys also added that they have received about 20,000 electronic audio files, videos, and written documents that prosecutors have presented as evidence in the case. So apparently they just recently got this. And so they're like, mother lover, we need time. We need time to go through all this stuff. But I'm like, yo, that's your problem. That's why you have a team. Start combing through the stuff starting now, right? The defense team has devoted and will continue to devote significant resources to processing discovery, including identifying materials not yet received to inform readiness for the preliminary hearing. However, the defense team is realistic, and the comprehensive review required to determine what is missing will take hundreds of hours. So in other words, yeah, like I said, they want more time. They're like, the hell? We want more time. What is known at present is that Mr. Robinson has not yet received the forensic case files and data necessary to investigate through the use of qualified experts, the scientific reports that the state intends to introduce at the preliminary hearing. Defense attorneys and prosecutors have previously met on March 12th, which we missed, but of course they met just a couple weeks ago. Based on that meeting, the defense said in the motion, it believes prosecutors will introduce discrete buckets of evidence through 3 identified law enforcement witnesses at the preliminary hearing. This includes a conclusionary forensic DNA and ballistics report authored by the FBI and the ATF. This is not good. I mean, again, if their allegations are true, if they're saying that the ATF looked at the bullet and said the bullet is not connected to the actual rifle that he fired from, then what's up with that, right? That seems weird. right? But they're still going, oh, we got our guy. We're done. At least that's what the FBI is doing. At least that's what Kash Patel's been doing. Remember, I can't wait to be back in your loving arms, my furry love. Back into your furry arms, yes. Remember that? My love. Just waiting so I can go back and so I can retrieve Papa's artillery. I shall return back into my vehicle and back into your furry arms, my love. Remember that crap? Ooey-oo. Moving on. So the social media data, testimony by law enforcement officers about the crime scene and search locations, and testimony by Robinson's parents and roommate, his furry lover, ooey-oo, as well as a significant amount of hearsay from quote-unquote non-testifying peace officers. Prosecutors have alleged he drove 3 hours. Tyler Robinson drove 3 hours from his home to the university to take the life of Charlie Kirk, who was 31. So again, they're sitting there going, we need more time. There's a lot of information in here. They're also saying this is kind of a big deal. You got a dude out here. Who's being alleged of pulling the trigger. That bullet traveled from his rifle into the body of Charlie Kirk. And that bullet that was retrieved, or at least fragments of that bullet that was retrieved, are not connected to that rifle in which he fired from. That makes no sense. And they really do need to do a serious deep dive into that situation, because if that is true, then yeah, that's exculpatory evidence that should be presented in court. Real talk. But then my burning question is, then why did he turn his mother-loving self in? Why did he turn himself in? Remember, FBI did the right thing by turning to the public and saying, here are the pictures of the assailant. We don't know who he is, but if you know anybody that was wearing this shirt and this outfit on this day, please contact local authorities so we can bring him down to justice. And Mama Robinson was sitting there knitting and going, oh my God, that's tie-tie. Oh, I know my tie-tie from anywhere. Honey, Papa Robinson, come here. Yep. Ain't that tie-tie right there in this camera on the TV? You don't see that's the same shirt and the same hat. I know my son, right? Well, dadgummit, that is. Son, we need to talk. And then he turned himself in. If he didn't do anything, why would he turn himself in? Think about that for a second. Why are we going to something else that's also weird? Yeah, something else that's also weird. Get ready for it. Because as soon as that whole information came out about how Tyler Robinson, the bullet not matching, none of that, okay? Now we got the sheriff who was spearheading the entire investigation resigning. Yeah, what? Why is he resigning? What the hell's this all about? Strange things are going on, my friends. Strange happenings going on right now, and it's weird. It's weird. The sheriff who took the phone call that led to Charlie Kirk's suspected shooter turning himself in has resigned and announced his retirement. This is within days. So Sheriff Brooksby made the announcement on Friday, this past Friday, the same time that they put out the court filing saying, hey, the ATF is saying that the bullet that came out of his gun actually ain't the same bullet, Mr. Sheriff Bugsby. What? And then he retired. Yeah, Jose. Yes. No way, Jose. I had to. I'm sorry. Yeah, conveniently retired. Yes. Conveniently retired. Woo! Woo! Yes, conveniently retired. Don't you think that's interesting? The gun, the rifle don't fit the actual gun. Sheriff Brooksby, that's kind of weird. So he made the announcement Friday following undisclosed complaints to Utah's Washington County from individuals who are concerned with operations at the sheriff's office. Why? What operations, man? What operations were going on that would make him have to drop the jibby job? Come on. I'm going to repeat that again. This was following undisclosed complaints to Utah's Washington County from individuals who are concerned with operations at the sheriff's office. You don't find that weird? You don't find that weird? So an attorney, okay, that told this to the Salt Lake Tribune, all right, said Brooksby resigned as a consequence of the complaints, adding that he disagreed with them. Huh? Excuse me, I hiccuped. That was weird. After that decision, the complaint asked the matter not be pursued further, and we're respecting their request, she said. What? See, that doesn't make any sense. Is he up to no? Was he doing some dirty? Because that doesn't make any sense at all. He resigned as a consequence of the complaints, adding that he disagreed with them. After that decision, the complainant asked that the matter not be pursued further, and we're respecting their request. So he just had to step down, and that was just Gucci after that? So in other words, he did something bad. Okay, this is obviously something weird and bad. Okay, and we already know about Charlie Kirk and what happened. What role did Brooksby play in the Tyler Robinson arrest? So he's a lifetime resident of Utah's Washington County, worked at the Washington County Sheriff's Office for 27 years of his career, and you got a complaint and suddenly you just dropped your job like this? Oh, but we won't push any further, but I quit. I'm resigning now. What did he do? Did he ask somebody to do something that she didn't want to do? You know what I'm saying? As a quid pro quo? You feel me? What's going on here? Or is there other things that are going on that we don't know about? And does it have anything to do with Charlie Kirk's demise or the investigation into it? You see what I'm saying? This is weird. All right. A member of the Republican Party since the age of 18, he was elected to fill the remainder of the Sheriff Corey Pulsifer's third term in November of 2021, and was sworn in the following month. After the tragedy, okay, at UVU, Brooksby said he received a phone call from a retired deputy saying he knew who had taken the life of Charlie Kirk. The suspect was later identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. First off, let me just point this out really quick. The retired deputy, if I'm correct, the retired deputy was the actual friend of the dad who actually helped Tyler Robinson confess and also helped orchestrate getting Tyler Robinson to turn himself in. Remember, Tyler Robinson finally fessed up to his dad and his mama and a pastor who happened to be a former cop. And that's how they orchestrated this whole thing, through the former cop friend. And I think the dad was also a former cop as well. But moving on, right? Pretty insane stuff. Pretty insane stuff if you ask me, right? So again, weird. Friend calls the sheriff, says, I got the guy. He confessed. And then they set the whole thing up, the whole rendezvous, the whole surrendering, because they didn't want him to get iced. right? Robinson's family had reached out to to the retired deputy, who they knew through the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And they asked him to help negotiate a peaceful surrender for Robinson, which we all know. Part of the negotiation of getting him to bring himself in was that we would treat it as delicate and as soft as possible to make him comfortable to where he would show up to my office. This is what the Sheriff Brooksby said about Tyler Robinson turning himself in. So again, lawyers for Robinson asked on Monday to delay a preliminary hearing scheduled for May, arguing that they need more time to review the material that could constitute Tyler Robinson's defense, including the bullet analysis. According to the legal team, a recent analysis from the ATF could not conclusively connect a bullet fragment recovered from Kirk's autopsy to the rifle found on the scene of his assassination, according to court filings cited by Politico. So he is set to have a hearing, another court hearing, I guess, on a defense motion to ban cameras from the courtroom on April 17th. So again, that's weird. The same guy who helped orchestrate and coordinate the receiving Tyler Robinson and him, him surrendering, that same mother-loving dude is the same guy on the same day that the defense files court filings basically saying, hey, ATF said the bullet they cannot confirm that bullet that took out Charlie Kirk was fired from Tyler Robinson's gun. That same day that they put out that filing, he retires. Is that a coinky dink, or is that some serious ish? To me, that sounds like some serious ish. That's very odd to me, guys. Very, very odd. The county celebrated his career in the news release issued on Monday. He's been a tremendous asset to our community, and we appreciate his many years of service. The Washington County Attorney's Office is now ensuring that the legal procedure for appointing a new sheriff is appropriately executed. They're set to nominate a new individual to take up the role vacated by him. And it's just crazy. Like I said, the timing's a little bit strange. Same day, guys. Same day that court filing comes out, he says, I got to go. He's also the one who got called by the pastor, former officer, to help orchestrate how they could have Tyler Robinson surrender without any issues. And now you got the ATF saying that the bullet that took out Charlie Kirk may not have been fired from Tyler Robinson's rifle. Look at all that information that we just talked about. All that information, and then suddenly now no connection. There's no connection. He resigns. Bullet ain't fired from Tyler Robinson's rifle. It most definitely is at least interesting. It's quite thought-provoking, if you ask me. Okay? Quite thought-provoking. Jojo, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate it. I'm going to get some of these super chats here really quick. Carbonaz, thank you so much for being a member for the past 26 months. I appreciate it. But they aren't fighting for their country. They're fighting so a president can hide from the consequences of his crimes against children. Yeah, we can agree on that. Yeah, this is all a deflection. This is all a distraction, guys, all of it. Carbonize, you got a couple, so I'm going to go through them too. Thank you so much. I was just I was just following orders. Will not protect any of them in the end. Justice comes for all. The international courts are rumbling. I would like to see that. So far, everything that they've done that's been like against the rules or whatever, breaking some sort of criminal law or some sort of making some sort of war crime or something like that. So far, they've been able to dodge everything. So I don't know. I don't know. Under different circumstances, it might be a different outcome. Thank you again. Freedom, yes. Then Pete slips aside for a Hummer from a general. Yeah. This is Braveheart. Yeah, this is definitely in his mind. You know what I mean? This is Sparta. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he's doing. He's getting off on this. Real talk. Star Fury, thank you so much for the love. Voodoo Magic Man. Yes. What in the hell is that all about, right? What is going on with, he's throwing out prayers and stuff. You know what I mean? Again, thank you so much, Star Fury. God hates blasphemers and fake prophets. Ezekiel. Yes. 110%. It's crazy how they're trying to bless war. Remember, this has already been happening. He's been trying to bring in the Bible. He's been trying to bring in the damn Bible since the very beginning. Actually, it was like a day or two into the war. That's when they started becoming so holy. You know what I'm saying? But it's very unholy. You know what I'm saying? Suddenly it's, he's been anointed by God. You know what I'm saying? Suddenly out of nowhere, it becomes that. Pretty wild. Chelsea, thank you so much for the love. Down by the sea somewhere. Chelsea is there. Let's go here. So tired of them selling lies in Jesus' name. Yep, they are. And I'm tired of it too. I will say that. Ride. Thank you so much for the love. Keg's breath is such a walking joke. So cringy. It is cringy. Is he married? I think he's married, right? It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Like, is he saying that? Like, you know what I mean? You know? Mid-coitus, he's just, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going further. We're going to keep driving forward. You know? Never mind. I shouldn't ask that question. Moving on. Hip-hop culture. Thank you so much for the love. Lies. Supposed to be nuke bombs, not their missiles. Yeah. Supposed to be, but it's not. Supposed to be, but it's not. Again, hip hop, thank you so much again. Supposed to be about, nuke bombs. They just didn't realize how great the Iran missile system was. And now they don't want them to have no missiles. Yeah, they don't want that now. But see what I'm saying? They lost the plot, and now we're back to that crap all over again. They're like, no, that's not what we want. It's like, you know what I mean? Now we got to protect France and all the other allies. And we're doing it for you guys now. You weren't doing it for them before. The only reason why you're doing it for them now is because you put yourself in this situation. You started this fight. You started this, and now you're trying to backtrack and try to be like, see, we still heroes. Nah. Okay. Star Fury, thank you so much for the love. Does anyone realize if that country over launch a nuke, the fallout will travel the globe and eventually come to America? Yes, I know. Do you? Star Fury? I do know. That's the problem. See what I'm saying? This is why I'm worried. You know? This should worry all of us. You feel me? We don't need these boom booms going off, because here's the thing. They launch like we launch, they're going to launch. This is going to be like the beginning of that show Paradise. We don't need that. Okay? Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's fine. If y'all need like a Sterling K. Brown character in your life where I'm just out there kicking ass, taking names and saving the world, I have no problem doing that because, you know, deep down, I am like the Sterling K. Brown of the show Paradise. Like, I am the hero of Paradise. You know what I mean? We just haven't seen it yet. You feel me? And I don't want to because I'm tired. I'm tired. And I got other things to do than to save your mother loving asses. Okay? So we good on, we don't need the nukes flying all over the place. Okay? Real talk, we don't need that. Please and thank you. Yeah? Okay. I'm just saying we good. We good on all that. Let's just not touch the red buttons for a while or forever. How's that? So again, like I said, if they launch, or if we launch, I'm sorry, they will launch. It's only a matter of, it's inevitable. It'll be bad, and I don't want that. Rod, again, thank you so much. Getting you to play Axe. $2 well spent. That was terrible, but that was really him trying. You know, he getting that. He getting the church clap, like, okay, amen. He tried though. Sing it out. He's just singing from the heart. But he sounds like crap. Yeah, that throw was that. It's like, oh, he trying. Amen. You know? JLK, thank you so much for the love. Thank you, Pascal. You're a real one, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know, I try to be real. I try. I do. I try. I try my best. But guys, yeah, this is all. We are living in a cluster F. Let's just be real. Okay? We are definitely living in a cluster F. Where is this going? You know? Courtney Cox, where do we go from here? Where are we going? Where are we going? I got to be honest. I don't want it to go where I think it's going. You know? It was Deborah Cox. I meant Deborah Cox. Why did I say Courtney Cox? Not her. Not Friends. No. I meant Deborah Cox. Sorry. Thank you. Don't know why I said Courtney Cox. But you get what I'm saying, okay? You get what I'm saying. Where do we go from here? Okay? What's going on? They say one thing and then we're hearing something completely different. And honestly, I feel like Trump and Pete Hegseth are on completely two different chapters. They're not even in the same they're not even in the same freaking book. They're not even in the same book. Trump is in, you know, I don't know what book he's in. Cat in the Hat. And Pete Hegseth is in The Art of War. You know? Two completely different books. Trump's Green Eggs and Ham. And you got Pete Hegseth out here, War and Peace. Well, not even War and Peace, just some manosphere book. You know what I mean? You know? So it's weird. Thank you. Thank you, Floating Lotus. Thank you. Okay. I know. I said Courtney Cox. Sheesh. It was a mistake. Sorry. But again, guys, of course, I'm going to keep an eye on things and see what's popping and see what transpires from here. Trust me when I say this, something bad is about to happen. It's not going to happen here. Not boom wise, but financially, yes. Things are already going bad We already know that. People are now starting to talk about the fertilizer situation, by the way. I know some of y'all were like, being naysayers about what I was talking about, but they are talking about the fertilizer. They most definitely are. It's a very, very big problem that could potentially screw us all over. We don't need that. We don't. But we'll see what happens. Trump can only do what he's doing for so long. He can only do so much of the manipulation, saying one thing, but then we see how the economy is doing. The economy is not thriving. The economy is not thriving. It's a slow incremental decline, but it's declining. And I just hope that we get on the other side of this very, very soon. Like, let's stop this war. Let's just stop this war. And start focusing on the things that really matter here. You know? That's what needs to be focused on right now more than ever. But that's the show, guys. Appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in, being a part of the conversation. Thank you so, so very much. Do me a favor before you head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. I most likely will be on a little bit later on this evening, so be ready for that, okay? Just be ready, all right? But please do me a favor. Hit that like, hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. Subscribe right here on my YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon, which is right there going across the screen as we speak. Or if you want to support even further, go check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there, so go check it out, baby. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there. And until then, be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.